Good afternoon. Can you hear us all loud and clear on a beautiful cold afternoon in Melbourne, Australia? So, welcome to Marketing with my friend and colleague here, Mark.
Hello.
As I've said lots of times, it took me a long time to come up with this name, Marketing with Mark.
It's
So,
genius. Got
it
it,
is.
mate.
Oh, thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
So, what we're going to talk to everybody today about, which we're quite excited about, and I think a lot of people don't really understand AEO, SEO. What's the difference? What you should you be doing? What shouldn't you be doing inside of it? And what I think we're going to start with, which is I think everybody says, "Oh, I don't need any SEO, Mark. I don't need any AEO because my web designer has done it for me. As
Yeah.
soon as he built the website, he has done everything for me. So he's done the SEO for my site. We're set and forget. We're good to go.
Yeah.
That's a myth, though, isn't it? So let's start there because I think that's everybody's illusion that oh my website's got SEO, so we're good to go,
Yeah.
right?
You are spot on. SEO, you're right. It's usually the web dev, the web developer, designer, whatever you want to call it, has done your SEO. Absolutely. All they've done is the um almost see it like a debutante ball where you have arrived on the scene and that's it. So they've just ensured that your website is ready to be read by Google. It's set the whole structure up so that it can start to read everything
Yeah,
about your website. But the thing with SEO is it compounds. So it is not going to get you ranking if you've just set it up ready to go, because the simplest way to imagine this is if everybody is just did that, why in God's name would you be chosen by Google, Bing, whatever, over someone else?
yeah,
Right? Google has a very simple, I love to sort of strip down all the layers and look at it from the absolute basis. And that is Google has a vested interest in showing its end user the best possible answer to their query. Because that's how Google became a $1 trillion company, is because it's got the best results for those questions. If you are new to the game, you've just set up your website, why in God's name would Google choose you over a business that's been there for 10 years, has got a whole website with all kinds of content, useful, helpful, everything?
yeah,
It's never going to choose you. So
yeah.
it's good, always get your dev to, and what we refer to as optimize your website for SEO, which means you are all ready for Google to find you and to start ranking you. But then the real work starts.
Yeah. So I suppose that leads on to what we're talking about today is, I suppose, SEO and this new term, which is AEO. So that's answer engine optimization.
Correct.
Correct? Right?
Yep.
Got that
Correct.
right?
Yep.
Excellent. So I was reading literally stats 10 minutes ago about engine optimization, how people now aren't clicking anything.
Yep.
So that's obviously a bit of a concern if you're spending money on ads, certain things. Then now 60% of all search is done in, I suppose, the LLMs and everything is actually giving you an answer immediately. So Google's even doing this now with Gemini. So I'm going to share lots of people online here today have gone on Google, search, and you're not clicking one thing. You're literally just taking what Gemini has told you at the top as gospel, and that's what you're going to run with.
Yep.
So how do you then appear? So this is what the AEO is all about, is you appearing in that search for Gemini at the top, or if someone is searching in your LLMs like Claude or ChatGPT, and then citations and references being brought up in there. Let's start with that. How do I, as a business, get myself inside an LLM? Because they use different tracking. From what you told me, they use different tracking to what Google uses.
Yes and no. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's again, we have gone into arguably the hardest and most difficult to master skill set when it comes to digital marketing, right? SEO and AEO. There's lots of other terms for it, GEO, AI SEO, but let's just stick to AEO. Um, there are a lot of differences, but there's also a lot of similarities. Um, it's not as easy as, oh, just do this and then you'll show up.
Mm.
Um, Again, stripping everything down, if there's one sort of word or one phrase just to remember that you really have to, with everything that you do, that you have to take into consideration is it's be helpful, be valuable, be authentically valuable, right? So the way traditional SEO works is slightly different to the way answer engine optimization works. However, in the end, the algorithm that is going to put you forward is looking for genuine, helpful content. So gone are the days. You used to be able to, 10 years ago, it was an absolute Wild West. You could manipulate the system, you could manipulate the algorithm with a lot of different way in a lot of different ways to start to show up at the top. Nowadays, you have to put the work in. You
Mm,
just have to answer that question that that person is asking, and back it up with content, information, authority,
mm.
and the rest.
So we were talking about it before, and we're thinking like, so how can we immediately give value to everybody that's on today? And we said, okay, well, what's sort of the three, four things that someone could do literally today to improve their SEO, AEO for that? Because essentially, we're just talking about websites. That's what we're essentially talking about,
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah,
what could a business owner today do immediately to start improving that? Now, you gave me a whole list of things earlier today.
yeah,
So let's just go through. If you were going to start today, actually trying to improve these things,
yeah.
what would you recommend? What would we do?
I know I sound like a broken record here, but start like step number one is have your LLM ready, right? So whichever system you're using, if you're using chat, if you're using Claude, Gemini, whichever one it is, doesn't matter. That's what you start with, right? Um, One of the first things, and I've found this throughout the years talking to business owners, I'm surprised how many people don't have their ICP, their ideal client profile, or ideal customer profile. Um, it's really, really important to understand exactly who is in the market
Mm.
for your service or product, right? If you're in
So
the
you're talking
service
basically
space,
about a full persona.
a
Yeah,
full persona.
yeah,
So not, oh, I sell to women 20 to 40. It's no, I need it segmented. You need to know exactly who your audience is. That is step number one.
yeah.
Do not start on SEO before that. Then there's a whole bunch of other things, right? So there's what we call the on-site, which is structuring sort of the back end of your website in a very readable format. That's quite technical, so that's quite difficult.
So developers are going to need to do that part.
You would
Yep.
need a developer's help for that. But then we have the so-called off page. So that is everything that basically happens outside of your website. And there are a lot of things. I always say the number one thing to start with is your GBP, your Google Business Profile. Some people know it as Google My Business.
Yep.
Ensure, and especially if you're service based, right? And you are serving a certain locality, X number of suburbs, you need to make sure that your naming convention, your name, the NAP, name, address, phone, is the same on your GBP as it is on your website, as it is on the yellow pages, Yelp, whatever other citations there are of your
Okay.
business. Get as many as possible. A lot of them are free, but ensure there is continuity. If you have a PTY Ltd business name, and in some places it's PTY Ltd, and in other places it's just the name on the website, really, really bad. It's all about these trust signals to Google. So I would start with my Google My Business, make sure there are good images on it,
Yep.
make sure that your address is correct, your opening times, your website, all the links. Start updating it at least twice a month, preferably once a week.
So
Um,
what would you be updating? So obviously Google My Business, again, it's free for anybody to log on and create a Google My Business. So obviously, as you said, you're linking your website. That's obviously all your reviews and stuff as well.
yep,
So making sure people are
yep.
giving you reviews, that gives you trust,
Respond
that
to
gives you
those reviews.
responding to them, so that gives
Very
you
important.
trustworthiness.
Yep.
Opening hours, your web address, as we've got that, your actual physical address, telephone number. What else can you update on there?
Things like blogs. So
Oh, you
you
can put
can,
blogs on.
yeah, you can basically, if
Okay.
you have blogs on your web page, you can link those to your GBP so that you have updates every now and then.
Yep.
That keeps your page dynamic. And anybody who's watched us talk about SEO in the past will know that I always hammer on about the EEAT, experience, expertise, authority, and
Mm,
trustworthiness. Um, I cannot stress enough how important that is to Google, because they're putting their neck out on a
mm.
limb by recommending any kind of a website, right? There's a risk that that's a malicious website or whatever. So they need as many trust signals as possible to ensure that people can actually um, find what they're looking for, right? So a website needs to show Google that, hey, we're an authority in the space. We can be trusted. Look, there's all these other websites mentioning us. Haven't even started. Like, there's a whole trend now on YouTube videos, listicles. Listicles used to be dead. Listicles were a huge thing,
What
right?
what are listicles?
Listicles, the top 10 destinations for 2026,
Oh, you mean
right?
as like a blog or as a post on your
Yeah,
site?
a
Yeah,
list article, I think, is
list
what it
article.
means.
Got you. Yeah.
Those things are making a huge comeback now in the SEO space as well.
Yeah.
So
It
people are finding really clever ways of adding
actually
those
one
in.
actually randomly got me the other day. There was a CRM one, and like a certain CRM actually rated all their CRMs. They rated themselves at the top,
There you go.
but they
Yep,
actually rated all the other
yep,
CRMs. So
yep,
they actually were publicizing all their competitors,
yep,
but doing what is the top CRM to use for a small business,
exactly.
right?
And so
Like
they're piggybacking on,
what
yeah,
an ingenious way to do it.
piggybacking off of the authority of the bigger ones, right?
Yeah,
So I don't know which CRM it was, but you know, if you get some of the biggest in the world and you have those at number two, three, four, but you should see this one, you know, cheaper. It's yeah, new kid on the block,
yeah.
but they score high on this. A really, really popular tactic they're using nowadays.
Okay.
I just got I constantly I tell people that my algorithms, Meta and Google, have no freaking clue who I am because I'm looking up everything from like baby clothing to female hygiene products to cars to plumbers to everything you name it for research. So I get targeted with the weirdest ads. I'm absolutely schizophrenic in Google's eye.
Yeah.
But there was one just recently. I used to have a Whoop, the
Have you got rid
fitness
of it?
tracker. I got rid of it. Yeah, it's too expensive. It's
Yeah.
like $40 a month or something.
Yeah, that's insane.
Um, and so I've been in the market for a new one, and I got targeted by this new player on the market. It's called a Hume.
Oh, I've
I'm
seen that.
not
Yeah.
plugging it for anyone, but Hume 2.0, and I was like, whoa, okay, all right. So did my search, and first couple were sponsored. First sponsored was humeband.com, whatever. Second one, nothing to do with Hume. It was, the fitmum.com.org or something. And it was like, I tried exactly this a list ago. I tried these 5 fitness bands for 2 months, and this came out. All the links, the what do you call it, affiliate links and stuff. So I was like, Then I went down and literally in the SERPs, so the search engine results page, the organic hits were similar hits. You could just tell that they were paid for and came from Hume, but were not this Hume website. So there were all these other websites.
Wow. So Humor actually targeting third parties to get their listings up,
Yeah.
which is more like user generated content
I mean, and
reviews.
that's SEO
Yeah.
like 3.0. That's, you need some serious
Yeah.
budgets to do that. But it just goes to show how it's no longer just, oh, just work on your keywords kind of thing. Just
Mhm.
write good content on your website. That's the basic.
So business, Google business, first thing they
Through
need
my
to do.
business. Yep.
Um, but we want to talk about reviews as well, because
Hmm.
reviews obviously are great testimonials for your business. You can screenshot them, use them on your advertising,
Yeah.
use them across, if you're doing webinars or things like that. Do reviews, because I think a lot of people always ask, well, does it really matter whether I've got reviews in there or not? Does it actually help with SEO?
It absolutely
It
does.
does.
Yeah,
So
it
even though,
absolutely does.
because when I typed this in last week when we were kind of researching this, Google says, "Oh no, we don't take reviews into consideration." Is
Mhm.
that just a blatant Google lie? Is that
Um, so again, it's a trust piece, right? So you
okay?
have to look at it holistically, right? So they're not going to, if you have a review on Trustpilot, that's not going to be ranking, that's not going to rank on your SERPs, but that is a citation and an authoritative citation that is mentioning you. So in the greater picture, it absolutely does play a part.
Okay.
But
So Google reviews are a very important part to any business to make sure, and I suppose it's
and
how you're putting into your workflows, because no one randomly is just going to leave you a review unless they're pissed off. That's
correct.
the reality, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
no one's just going to be like, "Oh, I had a really good dinner last night. I'm now going to jump on that person's
Yeah. Unless it
restaurant and
unless
review
it
it."
was like 10 out of 10, this is the most amazing thing. My
And even
my
then,
I rarely do it as well.
personally,
Yep.
I
Yep.
just would never think to do it. I had a really good experience at this pub, or out for a restaurant, or this,
I do it
even
occasionally,
even
but
like a service for something, right? oh, I had this amazing experience. I'm now going to go and rate this company.
Mm.
Like you just rarely do it. But if you're pissed off, first place I go,
Immediately. Yeah, yeah,
first place,
yeah. Just
these guys are shit.
warning other people,
Yeah.
don't use these bastards.
So,
Yeah.
so that will obviously help. So, we've got Google, we've got reviews. What else can business owners do themselves? Because I think there's so many things that are going to cost money to do. But what could they actually do today to start helping? So, what else
So
can they do?
again, use your LLM as your friend,
Yeah.
right? Uh, a lot of websites I see are very, very weak. They're very, very low on information on authority and whatnot. Now, authority comes with time, um, but and this again goes back to put yourself in the mind of your
Yeah.
customer.
So this is back to your personas. What do they like? What do they not like?
Yeah, what do you
What
need to
would
see
they,
on your website?
what are their problems,
Yeah,
issues? Yeah.
and spend some time. Now, a lot of, especially starting businesses, you need references, you need word of mouth, you need, if you had happy customers, you need them. So there's a lot of things outside of SEO to start with. SEO, and I say this to everybody I speak to, if you're a new business, don't focus too much attention on SEO. It's long term and it's compounding, but your first priority should be getting bookings or getting sales. And that
Yeah.
you need to advertise for that.
Yeah.
But if you are an established business, you've got, recurring monthly revenue coming in through other channels, and it's now time to start working on your SEO. First thing I would say is get your website in order. Make sure that it has enough information. We were speaking about FAQs,
Yeah.
right? Um, with the advent of large language models, the so-called tail is becoming longer. The tail is what we refer to as the actual question, right? Uh, brown hiking boots is the typical thing that you would get on Google, right? Brown leather hiking boots. Whereas if you go onto chat, you say, I'm planning a 2-week trip through the Himalayas. I want some hiking boots, but I don't want them to be too heavy. I want them to,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera, et
They
cetera.
need to fit in a
25,
certain
30
size
words.
bag
Yeah,
that I'm
yeah.
carrying around with me.
Can't be more
Yeah.
than four,
Yeah.
was it a kilo and a half,
Yeah.
whatever it is. It's like all of a sudden your tail has become 30 words.
Mm.
And so the content on your website now needs to reflect that. It needs to actually answer those kind of questions. So whereas in the past, you know, brown leather hiking boots with a
Mm.
little bit of SKU information, a price, and whatever would suffice. Now you can have those frequently asked questions. You can have those as drop downs at the bottom of a page saying, these shoes are ideal for travel. They fit into a weighing only this much. They fold up well, they dry quickly. All that sort of additional information is becoming extremely important because that's what those large language models are doing. They are um, they are taking that basic question that you asked and they are doing research in a matter of seconds that you and I would do over
Yeah.
an hour.
So, but for that example, so the hiking boots, right? So as you said, someone's writing an essay or now probably just speaking it
Yeah,
into their
yeah,
phone.
yeah,
They're
exactly. Yeah,
not even writing anything,
yeah,
they're speaking it into their phone. So if I was a business selling hiking boots, I might have a page, treks through the Andes, treks through the
exactly.
Himalayas. Here's people with examples. And then the LMs are going to pick that up because you've used that type of language on your page and you've referenced those hills, those mountains, those exact walks. Yosemite hiking to El Capitan. I've put a picture of somebody in there and written a whole. That's what it's going to pick up, right?
That's the kind of stuff
So
that
that's the blogs that then frequently
additional
asked
content that
questions,
feeds into
additional
that. Yeah,
content. So
good product descriptions as well, right? Any page that is,
perfect boots for
well, yeah, exactly.
mountaineering
But
or
but going into a lot of detail, Gore-Tex rubber soles for anti-slip, da 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 da. Calf skin leather that dries quickly. What? Yeah,
yeah.
I'm no wordsmith, but those are the kind of
You
things.
use Claude now. You don't need to
Well,
be a
yeah,
wordsmith.
exactly. Well, but no, and so here's the other thing, right? These are the pitfalls of, I said use Claude or whatever large
Yeah.
language model you want, but also don't, because this is where a lot of brands are also going wrong is uh people thought, oh, copywriters, they're the first people to go. But it's turning out that they're extremely valuable because nobody is coming up, or very few people are coming up with original content. everything is being regurgitated by large language models. Claude, write me a description on these leather boots with these characteristics. It weighs this much. It's write me a nice blurb to put on my website. Everybody else is doing that as well. So the content is becoming what we call AI slop. So it's not standing out.
Mm.
So again, utilize your large language models, but you need to still have that human
Yeah.
touch.
So with FAQs, and then we briefly touched about blogs. So,
Content.
so
Yep.
content in blogs is huge. So, I mean, what would you recommend? How many blogs should people be putting out? Because again, this is something I think everybody can do very simply as well.
Yep.
You can easily, obviously, we're talking about AI slop, so we don't want people to start using AI slop and using AI to write your blogs for you. But it's a very easy way to help boost your profile of your website, your brand, your business.
Look, it's
And
productivity. So
so
yeah.
what would you be writing about? Say
So I
let
would
let's take trades. So I'm a local plumber,
yep.
Melbourne. What would I be writing about in my blog on a what again, how frequently should we be doing this, Mark?
Yep.
Weekly, monthly?
Uh, it depends on the size of it. Look, in an ideal world,
Just say you've got
with
a see, weekly?
yeah,
Ideal.
absolutely.
Weekly. Okay.
Weekly blog.
So what would I be
Um,
writing about that is going to help with my SEO and EO?
so a few years ago, Google, one of the biggest shifts really, there's been a few very like monumental shifts in the space over the last few years in SEO. Um, like AEO is arguably the biggest shift
Yeah.
that's ever taken place. But before that, we had what was called the helpful content update. And that's really where Google's algorithm became sophisticated enough to go away from that binary ones and zeros, keyword, to actually being able to contextualize information and go, this is genuinely good content, good, helpful content. Um, so when it comes to blogs, again, you've got your ICP,
Yep.
then look at, all right, what are issues that this potential customer could run into? So you're answering questions about everything relating to your industry, to
Okay.
your
So for plumbing, it could just be how frequently are you maintaining things, or
bingo.
how
Yep,
frequently should you do a pressure wash of certain
yep,
things in your house,
exactly.
or if you've got tap issues or something, what do you do in that circumstance? You don't have to get a plumber out. So,
Yep, exactly.
yeah.
Exactly that. Because and this is that long game, is it's building authority, it's answering questions, because people searching through large language models are much more they're much further down the marketing funnel.
Got you.
They're already in the sort of post consideration. They are basically ready to all the studies coming out now are showing that people who are arriving on websites through AI are converting at much higher percentages than people coming through Google. So
Because they're looking and they're typing an essay in, so they're
yeah,
looking for something so particular that now the LM's actually giving them one result, because generally it's not giving you more than one result, right?
yeah, here's our
Not going
findings.
research these three
Yeah,
different
exactly.
websites,
Yeah.
right? And then it's
Um,
kind of giving you one
and
result that
and
looks the best.
and that's the thing is I can't remember who said it. I'm paraphrasing here, but it's you are outsourcing the search process.
Mm,
Because no longer are you doing your research. You're not, even if they give you three answers, you're basically just going, yeah, I'll just go with the one that it recommends.
yeah.
So everybody's putting their trust in their ChatGPT, in their Claude, in their Gemini, in their Perplexity, whatever. And it's doing all the research. So you bloody hell better make
Yeah.
sure that you are the one that your large
Mm.
language model decides on.
Cool. So we've covered now, obviously, set up your Google business. Main thing, get all your details on there, make sure they're all correct and match your website. Then your website, we want to make sure you've got all of your frequently asked questions, plus doing weekly blogs on there. Now, we talked briefly about YouTube and videos and stuff as well. Obviously, Google own YouTube, so
Yeah.
even though they say they don't share data, of course they do. So, what could people be doing on a content? Because I mean, we've spoke about this. I think the last time we had a chat, we talked about the content in YouTube having to be authentic, right? That yes, you can do stuff in AI, but nobody really watches that
No,
stuff.
no.
They don't trust it. They don't think it's real. So the stuff that's working the best is one, user generated content, and then two, is people just grabbing their phone and literally going live
Yeah.
because
Genuine stuff.
people are like, oh, well, this is, someone actually sharing. information that's live. It's not overly, you know, designed and created and five editors, editing it.
Yeah.
It's actually live and genuine, right?
Yeah.
So what can people do to increase their AO and SEO with YouTube now? So, I mean, should they be like the blogs? Should they be doing a YouTube video based on that blog and taking some of that content, or should they
Yeah.
be doing what should they be doing? Because
So you,
YouTube's such a massive thing,
yeah,
right?
it is. And this is where you need to look at your brand, your product, your offering, right? It doesn't always make sense.
Hmm.
But in a lot of cases it does. So, if you have, uh, sticking with the plumber example, right? If you have a plumbing company, you can put out some videos showing people how to fix a tap, how to, those kind of things, because in the end, if a person wants to search, right, if you can't say, oh, you're cannibalizing because they're just going to go and do it themselves. No, because they would have done it themselves anyway. They would just be Googling how to fix a tap. So if you're the one answering that question, you are, again, adding value. Another really important one,
We Before you move on,
yeah,
we've talked about that before. I think on this too is that you're becoming an authority in the space.
yeah,
So a lot of people sell, I think, their businesses. So, YouTube, they'll help you with anything. So
yeah,
here's an entire walkthrough of helping you build like a marketing campaign is an easy one.
yeah,
Here's how you can do stuff for, oh, you've got this funnel you want to build in a Go High Level or HubSpot. I'm going
yeah,
to show you everything and how to do it. But if you actually want me to do it for you, I've got a link below and we can help you.
yeah,
Right. But they're
exactly.
showing you how
Because
to do
people
it.
don't have the time. Like
People
you
just
can
can't be fucked,
find
right?
it's the same with my industry, right? You want to do your own SEO? You can. You absolutely can. Go watch hours of YouTube videos on how to, access your cPanel, getting logged into the back end, the differences between meta descriptions, how many characters long they can be.
I'm lost already.
But that's
Yeah.
it. It's like you don't need anybody. You can learn
Yeah.
everything. It's just this is the thing is people don't have the time and they choose to spend their time on
Well,
stuff that they don't
time
do.
and then expertise, right?
Well, yeah,
So
but that's what I mean by
we talked about this
expertise.
as well, like expertise, how to become an expert in something, 10,000 hours. So
Exactly.
unless you've got 10,000 hours to waste learning SEO,
My point.
then
Yes. Yeah.
you're gonna outsource that type of thing, right?
Exactly. So that's the case with everything is you can learn everything, but and going back to that plumbing example is like showing people how to do it. Yeah, here you go, but you're gonna need specialized tools and all of
Yeah.
this kind of stuff. And people just go, all right, well, that's too hard basket. Yeah, let's just
Yeah.
give these guys a call.
So
Another one,
so what would a YouTube strategy be? So because that's probably the last piece in here is that we've people can do all these other things themselves, right? We want to help people to be able to do a lot of stuff themselves without having to spend any money on it, especially if you're starting something new or you've got a secondary business that you're wanting to just get, the basics right. With YouTube, what's the strategy around YouTube? If I'm just gonna start doing some content myself, what would the strategy be around that to make sure that I suppose it's helping with my website getting pushed up the Google rankings?
yeah. So again, uh, take a very close hard look at your offering, your core offering,
Hmm.
who you are, look at your ICP, and then based on that, come up with a number of angles, a number of subjects that you can talk about, right? It's like customer psychology is becoming so incredibly important in today's world because of AI, because everything is so easy to just put out. You can put out anything, but you have to put yourselves in the mind of your ideal customer. What are they looking for? What are the questions they have? What is important to them, as opposed to just the generic stuff that's out
Mm.
there. So with a YouTube strategy, it's exactly that. Look at your offering. How can I add value to people? What is something that people will actually watch and be interested in? I say this on almost every call I have with people is whatever you do, add value, right? We've had this conversation before. The amount of people on your bloody LinkedIn who are like, comment below for this worksheet, right? Like my feed is filled with it. And
It's a very good lead magnet,
it's a
right?
great lead magnet. And it works a lot of the time. I have on a
Yeah.
weekly basis, I will fill in a couple of those. Comment Claude for the latest,
Yeah.
workflow. The difference is that then when I do that, sometimes I just get sent a generic email saying, "Hey, thanks for your comment. Go to this paid page and, pay me $50 and you'll get it." Versus other ones who will say, "Look, here's your free content. Great. I've got a new skill that I can upload into my Claude and whatever. And if you want more information about other things that we do, here's our website with the paid
Yeah.
stuff. We're beyond that world where you have to have a paywall for everything because people are just going to go to the next one because it's so easy now to create content. So
Yeah.
by adding a little bit of value, you create a circle, you create people who actually follow you, who appreciate you. And by sort of implementing that, you will get further in the long run.
So the value, when you say value, what do you mean by value? So
So
is it
I'll use
is it is
my,
it is it just giving your knowledge away? Because
yeah,
I think this is where people get really confused. Is like, am I just giving away? I've created this incredible, program or service, or I'm the one that spent the 10,000 hours. We just
yeah,
talked about 10,000 hours.
yeah.
I'm now a genius in my space. I don't want to give that away for free.
What are we doing? What are we
I'm
doing
giving
right
value.
now? We're giving value for free.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing is, again, it's the Dunning-Kruger effect. The more you know about something, the more you realize how you don't actually know enough about it, right? The whole idea
Yeah.
of the dumbest person in the room thinks they are the biggest expert at something. Um, the whole idea is that the more someone starts to learn about something, and SEO is the perfect example of this, the more someone starts to learn about something, they realize, oh, wait, this is not this, I can't do this in my, on a Sunday
Yeah.
afternoon after I've put the kids to down for their nap and just have a quick little
Yeah,
play on
I
it.
think we were laughing about actually that exact point the other day. Like, probably, I'm sure anybody online here today, if you've been on Instagram recently and you use Claude, you've just typed Claude into anything, you're going to get served with a kid in America on a laptop saying, "So you want to build Claude? You just click here. You want to make $5,000? You click here. Here's a little picture of my screen. You click here, and look at this. I've just created 5,000 listed names in 2 seconds." And then, so I was talking about this, actually with one of the guys from Business AI a couple weeks ago. We just as a like thing to try, we took 15 of these videos, right? That people said, you just click here, you just do that 30-second video. Not one of them took us less than about an hour and a half to work
Yeah,
out,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's like, again, people are pretending to give you value.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness, it's so easy. Just comment below, I'll send you how to do this. Dun, dun, dun. No, hour and a half worth of work. And I class myself as someone that's quite techie. So I kind of know how to, like, if you weren't techie, like, this is
yeah,
impossible. Too hard
exactly.
basket. I'm
Yeah,
never going to try it. But you kind of get conned into here's lots of value. So I suppose giving lots of good value on YouTube with long done for
genuine,
you.
yeah,
And then you've
genuine
obviously
value.
you've got
Yeah,
some great softwares like Loom.
yeah,
Was talking about that yesterday and how you can use that to even film some stuff for YouTube with if you do this, click on that.
yeah. And that's in the end what's going to get you the following. Like the way I look at these things is, especially if you're a product, no one's going to recreate your product. They're not
Yeah,
going to, if you're selling kombucha, they're not going to go make their own kombucha. If they are, they were never your customer anyway,
yeah.
right? And the same goes for these service-based industries. Is yeah, the really easy things. They'll Google, they'll find out how to do it themselves anyway. So you might as well be the person to tell them how to do it. Because if they need somebody, you will be the person they'll come to because you offered that value.
So the prime, I suppose, YouTube clip is one, give huge value,
Yeah,
and then obviously make sure that you've got some sort of call to action at the end.
yeah, of course. Yeah,
So
yeah,
what do they do next if they want help with it? Send to landing page. So with landing pages, because I know people are probably wondering about this. So you've talked about all the different things a business could do themselves. Do landing pages help you get listed? So there's landing pages for, you can create one for a particular offer or a particular product that you want to
no,
sell or just a particular service. Landing pages don't get help with SEO, AEO, nothing.
no, no. Landing pages are, um, when we talk about funnel congruency, the whole idea is the first the first exposure a person has to your brand, every step along the way, it has to flow in to the exact look and feel. They have to really recognize whether they're on your mobile app or on your website, whether they're on a landing page or your
Yeah.
website, whether, an ad, everything has to flow in the same sort of look and feel. So landing pages are great as sales tools. That's what they do,
That's
but
it.
they do not work. They don't flow authority into your website because often they don't, by definition, they don't link to your website.
Because
So
I know most YouTube sort of channels have got some sort of landing page they want you to go to.
yeah, Yep.
right? To fill some details in to
Yep.
grab your content. Because, um, which I didn't actually find out until actually a couple months ago that even when your YouTube channel, you actually can't see any, even if you go live in YouTube, you can't see anybody's details, so they don't give you anybody.
Mm.
Even if people are subscribed to you, you can't see shit about them. So you don't get the emails, contacts, nothing.
Yep.
Google keep it all completely private
Yep.
for
Yep.
themselves, which is obviously quite annoying if you're going live and using lots of stuff on YouTube. So that's why I suppose they allow you to put links and stuff in the bottom
Yep.
so
Yeah,
that
of
you
course.
can
Yeah.
monetize
But
what you're putting out there.
yeah, and that's the whole first party data sort of privacy thing that crept up. I can't remember when it was. It was iOS 14 or something, iOS 13, quite a few years ago now, where you're not allowed to harvest third party data, because people were getting in, like, driving people nuts when, you would just go somewhere on a page and then all of a sudden all these people could spam you. So the internet kind of regulatory, there isn't one board, but
Yeah,
Apple was the most famous one, and Meta, they went hard on privacy.
cool.
Sorry, mostly Apple. It was Apple, and then
Apple kind of
Meta.
screwed it for everybody,
Meta
didn't
shut the bed.
they?
Yeah, they got.
So we kind of covered everything. The last thing I just want to talk to you about today is so Apple, largest basically phone manufacturer in the world. Um, I don't know anybody that doesn't have an Apple phone. And so they're just about to release. I don't understand Google phones. I just don't understand them. I don't even know how they work. Like someone handed me one the other day, was like, "Can you take a picture?" I'm like, "Me, I don't even know where to get the camera." Sorry. So,
I
but
love the
they
Samsung bashing. Yeah, go on.
no, if you got a Samsung, no offense. I just have got no idea how to work that technology, right? Um, but Apple are about to release their new Siri, and
Yeah, quite excited about
they're
that one.
piggybacked off of Google,
Yep,
and they're using Gemini
Gemini.
to run it all. I've literally just said that my phone's just lit up.
Yeah.
Just sort of said that. So, what's that going to mean for users now? That I mean, how many billions of iPhones are there on the planet?
A few.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
So that's going to open up an entire new audience for a lot of people that, because again, we've just said now 60% of all searches across the internet are through an LLM, or Google's giving you the result in their Gemini at the top, right? So that's 60% of all searches are zero clicks. Zero clicks. So that's insane,
Mm.
right? In the
Yep,
space of what, a year
yep,
that's happened.
yep.
So it's not going to be long until every search is a zero click, right? Reality.
It's looking that way.
Like,
Yep.
right? So this is going to obviously have a huge impact that now, because I mean, I already use Claude on my phone because Apple doesn't have it 100%. I'm going to use Apple's one because it's so much handier and it
It's
can actually,
native. Yeah.
well, and it can search through all the stuff that's on my phone and live and see what it's actually looking
Yeah.
at, right?
Yeah. For those people who haven't seen it yet.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. So for those that haven't seen it, it is basically Siri is now turning into a Siri stroke Gemini. They're not calling it that. I think they're calling it Siri AI, is what they're
Yeah.
calling it,
Yeah. Yeah.
powered
It's
by
Siri.
Gemini.
Siri finally grew
And
up.
what it's essentially enabling your phone to do is search everything that's on your phone through apps, through your mail, through Safari, through messages, through your calendar, every single thing that's on your phone, and it's on device. So they were huge about this privacy. So it's on device. So it's not actually going to the internet to give any of the data back. And then it's coming back to you, and then obviously it's got Gemini powering it, so it can search the internet for data as well. That now you'll be able to do everything. Essentially, you won't. I mean, a lot of people will actually probably stop paying for ChatGPT or Claude.
Yeah.
Some of them,
Who
you know what I
knows?
mean?
Yeah.
They might actually stop because it's free,
Yeah.
right? It's going to come with it. So, how's that going to affect businesses? Because now they're going to stop hearing it here, right? Like you
Yeah.
will come up in here if I'm because the reality is now I would be like, okay, I've got a leak in my house. I'd be like, hey Siri, can you just find me up a local plumber? Yeah, do you know what I mean? So
Exactly.
how are business owners? We've talked about all the things they can do. If they did want to pay to help with AO, what can Amplify do to help them get in those searches?
Basically everything that we just discussed.
Yep.
But then of course, you know, methodically approached. So this is exactly where you have to work on the website, where you have to ensure that you have enough pages, that the information is structured, that you're working on your authority. Um, I don't think I said it today, but I say this every time. The most important thing to remember is AEO is built on traditional SEO. And that's what a lot of people forget. And a lot of people, much like, oh, but I did my SEO when I got my website built. The other big mistake people make is they think that, all right, I missed the whole SEO boat, but now with AEO, I'm just going to jump on AEO.
Mm.
It doesn't work that way because the simplest way of looking at it, we just said this, is you ask ChatGPT a question, find me the best XYZ. Where do you think chat's going to go? It's going to go straight to
Say
the
the internet.
internet. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So you still need the foundations of traditional SEO. The only difference is you need to be much more conversational. You need to have a lot more off-page citations and references. The actual long tail answers to long tail questions need to be slightly different. So there's a shift in how you approach it,
Mm.
but the basic tenure is kind of the same. And it's just you have to put in the hard work.
Mm.
That is the difference. Google Ads, Meta Ads is pay to play. You turn it on and it's on. You turn it off and poof, it's
And
immediately gone.
so
Whereas
SEO, and that's not
it
that's a
compounds.
continual thing as well,
Yeah,
right? It's
but
not
it
a
also
thing.
compounds on top of each other.
Okay.
So if you were to stop with SEO, you would start to your numbers would start to decline, but they would decline at a slow pace. So this is what I speak to people. We've got third-party tools where you can see what their traffic is doing, much like analytics and Search Console. Um, we see, oh, you can see here, and then suddenly there's this dip.
Yep.
And it's like, ooh, what happened in March of 2025? And they'll go, oh, we switched websites, or oh, we stopped working on SEO. And you can just see that it's slowly going down, but you don't go to zero. And that is what happens with ads.
Yep.
You stop working on ads, zero.
Yep. So SEO is compounding. Love compounding. 1% better a day, 36% better a year.
There you go. Yeah,
But so the compounding effect with SEO is that it's a continual thing that you essentially, once you start doing, you don't stop doing because
correct.
you're working on it to get your web page up and to make sure that you're appearing in all these LLMs. Um, so yeah, I think we kind of covered everything, or maybe just reference everything we did. So number one things people should do. One, jump into Google My Business.
Google My
Make
Business.
sure
Huge.
all of
Yep,
that data is correct.
yep,
Opening hours, holiday times, your website, your actual address, your phone numbers, your business name is all matching.
yep.
Make sure you're focusing on Google reviews. So Google reviews, massive. You can automate some of that stuff in the background. If you do a quick plug for if you do use Empire Intelligence, there is actually an automated tool you can use inside there that does direct to your Google reviews, which is pretty
Great.
cool.
That's good.
Um, but and then is website stuff. So make sure one that your personas, the questions and the problems and the issues those people have,
Really think your website through.
yeah,
Don't just,
are you answering all the questions
yeah,
that they possibly might have?
yeah.
So are you fixing their problems? And then all of your frequently asked questions have a whole bunch of them. You should have a whole dedicated page almost to
Yep.
frequently asked questions
Or per subpage if
per
it's
subpage.
different
Yeah,
kind of categories. Yep.
categories, and then YouTube. So making sure you've got videos and you're not giving stuff away for free because give value. So people will see value, see you as an authority figure, and then people will trust your brand, you as a person, your tradie, whatever you're doing and
Ve-
putting on there.
Very quick addition to that one. We're finding Reddit is becoming incredibly impactful and important as well.
Okay.
And it's really important to be genuine. So if there are no threads, they work with threads. If there are no threads that actually pertain to your offering, business, or whatever, it becomes a bit spammy if you start to create them. But if there are questions about your service or your product, existing ones, using a very genuine profile, just answer those questions transparently. Don't be like, oh, it's this one. It's just be like, hey, I am the brand owner of so and so. We offer this and this and this. Highly recommend it. Again, authority, and it's a citation from elsewhere, which is something that the large language models are looking at quite a lot. They
So they
look at
use Reddit.
YouTube, Reddit. Yeah,
I know Reddit where they're not in a legal battle with ChatGPT because they were pulling all the data.
wouldn't be. Oh, yes, yeah,
They
great.
were.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so Reddit as well. So
yeah.
the last piece, and then pulling all that together as a business owner, you can actually do most of that stuff yourself.
Yeah.
There's actually, you don't need to outsource any of it. And then if you did want to outsource, because it's obviously a massive piece, got Mr. 10,000 hours he was spent doing SEO, who can certainly help you do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no,
Exactly.
thank you, Mark, for today. I've learned a thing or two as well about SEO and AEO. It is a very complex subject matter. And I think, again, people just don't focus on it because it's probably in that basket. It's just too hard.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
do I do? Oh, appearing on page one, never going to get there. But the reality is that all the stuff you do in the background actually can help you get to that page one for
A
the right
little bit.
nudges. And I suppose now more so than ever, with all the LLMs referencing not stuff that Google references, it's actually possible as a smaller brand to appear now when someone's doing a search,
That is true.
especially if
Yeah.
they're local, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So even though I did say, hey, listen, it is based on the traditional elements of SEO, it is easier, and it has become more of a level playing field.
Yeah.
So if you are new to the game, again, if you are brand new, you have zero authority, you've got 3 pages on your website, fat chance. But if you've built a nice, good website and you start working on everything that we spoke about, you actually stand a chance of getting mentioned by LLMs in a short period of time.
Sweet. We can do I know we ran a little bit, very quick questions if anybody's got any questions. Um, Sorry, my laptop's just died here as well. Really, really well prepared for today. How long does a video on YouTube have to be to make it worthwhile for website ranking? What would you
There's
say?
Look, you've got shorts and you've got long form. I would always recommend long form.
Okay.
So again, shorts as more almost like a TikTok style format, which is great. You can do that as well. But a 3 to 5 minute video would be great. And if it's something more complex,
Yeah.
even better,
Okay.
But there again, that's then we get into content theory and there's a whole new can of worms that we
Yeah.
can open on that one. But I'd say, yeah, minimum 3 minutes is fine.
Just make sure you've got a call to action at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Our call to
exactly.
action is if you want an SEO, you've got our details, message us, and we'll set you up in a meeting with Mark.
There you go.
He can talk to you
Pick it
all
up there.
about SEO and AEO and how you get your businesses ranked. Another question is, oh, cool. Well, that's it for this month. Oh, sorry. Was coming there. I want to review a website, same URL, new platform. We've made a lot of changes to the brand and offering it, need to update content, but want to also use the opportunity to switch to WordPress. Any tips on minimal impact?
Switching to WordPress.
Yes,
Yeah,
switching
it's
to WordPress.
100%. I say if you're an e-commerce, go to Shopify. If you were in service-based in the service-based industry, stick to WordPress because it's universal. Everybody can read, write. At any developer you go to,
Yeah.
everybody will be able to understand WordPress instead of these obscure. We still speak to people. I have custom HTML. It's like, why? Like, you are not Nike.com, it's like you do not need some elaborate CMS.
Okay. Question for you on that. Sorry, I know we're going over now.
Yeah,
So what about all these additional AI based word like that are creating websites?
they're
So
fine.
Lovable
Yeah,
or
Lovable, Versal,
yeah,
all of
what
those.
about one of those? If I plug code, what if I create a website in one of those forms? What does that do? Because
Well,
they say it can help with SEO. So
yeah,
I'm now a web developer. I've just created a website. I've now, got it to do my SEO for me.
yeah, it's not as universal
Okay.
to open up from a separate
So
location.
I can't start a business doing SEO through my Lovable page. Is that what
Hey, who knows what's going to happen in the
Yeah.
future, because there is this bigger focus now on AI generative everything.
Yeah.
So this could be the case, but changing to WordPress is clever because it's easy to work in.
Yeah.
If you use certain plugins, it's literally drag and drop. Otherwise, it's very basic coding. There's a whole list of things that you have to go through to ensure that you don't lose ranking. We
Okay. So that's a very important one. So whoever asked that question, said Jody about changing websites.
Yeah,
So whoever
it
your developers to not lose ranking when you're
any
moving.
developer who knows a little bit about SEO will know that there are, and we're in the process of chatting to people who had a botched migration. It was just the most amateur mistake that their dev agency did, but they went. I think they were at 800 visitors a month, which it's not setting the wall. In fact, it's 800 visitors, a lot of
Yeah.
visitors.
Organic.
Organic,
Organic.
yeah,
It's amazing.
it's great, yeah. And they're now at 150.
Whoa.
And you're always going to see a blip. So when you migrate, you will always see a blip, but it should be temporary.
Okay.
And there's a whole checklist. Use your LLM to provide that checklist. Um, Certain things like what we call 301 redirects. You need to make sure that every page that it was on, because that is the page, if it's the same URL, that is the page that your website knew beforehand, and then you've switched, you need to make sure that it happens smoothly. There's a whole list of things you need to
Okay.
do, but ensure
So the
that your
301 redirects is
developer,
that so business so then when Google knows and pulls up that URL that it goes to a new page. Is that
yes,
essentially what it is?
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you'll sometimes see that you'll land on a page and very quickly it will only take a second or so, but then you'll open up
Yeah.
somewhere else. That's a 301 redirect.
How do you set up for YouTube? Just jump on YouTube. If you've got your business, you
Create
need
an
a
account.
yeah, so you need for Google, you need to have a Google account, but you can actually set up a Google account with your business email. You don't actually need to use a Gmail. So you can actually use your business email to set up an account with
If you have
but
G Suite.
if no, even if you don't have G Suite.
Really?
Yep,
Oh.
yep, even if you don't have G Suite, I just did it the other day. So if you've got your unique, you can use whatever email address you want to set up a Google account, and then you can set up a business YouTube through that.
Hmm.
Super simple. There is a couple of things you need to do, which I'll just tell. So if you want to post links, you do need to verify your account at sort of an extra stage of verification, because they want to trust that you're a person and they want to take a few more details from you, driving license and stuff as well, if you're posting links for YouTube. But yeah, super easy process to set up, and then you can link your YouTube back to your website, and if you've got a good web developer, you can link all your YouTube so when you update one, it
Yeah.
automatically appears on your
And
site
very
and stuff as
important
well.
as well is you always have to have your social handles on your homepage as well.
Social handles the
That
homepage. Yeah.
yeah, this is like no discussion whatsoever.
Does actually very quick one before we finish up. Does posting things on socials help with AEO and SEO?
Um, Not necessarily. So
It
it's
doesn't reference those things.
again, here we go holistic, right? So very quickly, because I know we're short on time, but if somebody searches your brand, does it what we call a branded search,
Yep.
right? If you've done your thing, if you've done your work right, you will be top of page, right? Often what will happen is your Instagram will be second and your Facebook will be third. So
Okay.
it is important, but not from that primary. It's not pushing up your website's ranking,
Mm,
but it's important for findability because you don't want your competition being anywhere near.
got you.
Yeah.
Got you. That makes sense. Well, Mark, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks, sir.
Love our chats, marketing with Mark.
Yeah.
Thank
Next
you all for
month.
joining as well. Really appreciate it. I am actually away on holiday now for 3 weeks from this Sunday, and I cannot wait. I'm going over to sunny America,
Very
so get
good.
away from the winter in Melbourne.
Bit of World Cup.
So I'm hoping actually to see a World Cup game. Yes, I'm in LA while a World Cup game's on. I don't know. It's round of 32, so I don't actually know who's playing yet.
Mm.
And I haven't got a ticket, so I'm waiting until that happens before I go and splurge a quadrillion dollars on a ticket.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for tuning in, for joining today. Appreciate it as always. And as I said, if you've got any marketing questions, reach out to the team at EmpireOne here, and we'll be able to hook you up with a meeting with Mark to talk all things AEO. Have an awesome afternoon, and yeah, we'll see you all next month. See ya.